Elia presents Talking. Today we're here to talk sports with my friend David Fung of the Fung Bros. With a YouTube channel of over 2 million subscribers, he's a comedian, rapper, sneakerhead, foodie, Asian American community leader, and a sports enthusiast. What's up, David?
What up, man? Yeah, thank you. Hey, man, I'm flattered by the introduction, but I have to say I do at least a little bit of all those things.
Oh, man of many trades for sure, man. And so the playing game just happened. Any any thoughts on what you thought of the Grizzlies versus the Blazers?
Man, I, we were talking a little bit before this. The Blazers won, but they did not cover the spread.
Right.
So it was a really close game. I believe the spread was Vegas scientists had Blazers winning by 6.5 or more. What they ended up winning by 3 or 4. So I guess if you bet on Memphis, you still got your money.
Yeah. Did Ja exceed your expectations his rookie season?
Yeah, overall, and even in this game, I think he exceeded it too. Because it would have been easy as a rookie to come out and have score 25 on really bad splits.
Right.
But he have 35 on pretty decent splits.
He was incredible today. He's something else. I mean, I'm torn between whether I think he's gonna be more John Wall or Russell Westbrook, like his career wise. I do believe he's gonna develop a jumper soon or a better jumper. And he's just
jumper too. I would say it's already better than John Wall, right?
This is sad. I haven't seen John Wall play in so long.
Right, years, right?
Yeah, that I've actually forgot. I know he doesn't shoot well. I don't think he shoots as well as John Morant does now at all.
I want to say that John Wall's in the low 30s.
Yeah.
He's in the low 30s, but that's open low 30s.
Right.
I think Trae Young's starting to shoot almost low 30s, but that's because he's chucking them from
way back. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, but John Wall, he has hit a bank game-winning 3 in the playoffs before too. So,
no, he's a great player. We just haven't seen him play in so long that it's hard to gauge what he's gonna be like when he returns too.
Yeah. I think it's kind of weird, but I definitely think John Morant has something that even De'Aaron Fox doesn't. De'Aaron Fox, they were calling him the next John Wall, but with the jump shot.
Yeah.
And De'Aaron Fox, by all means, great player, great highlights, super fast, probably even faster than John Morant.
Yeah.
Just without the hops. But for some reason, it doesn't really, you know what I mean? People believe in Ja.
I think Ja he knows how to distribute better and lead an offense better than De'Aaron does. Off a fast break, I think De'Aaron is one of the best in the league. But even in a half court set, I think just Ja doesn't look like he's trying to score first either. He's just, he's a good point guard. He really is.
Yeah.
He's so much fun to watch. Speaking of fun, so the NBA bubble, they didn't call it the Bubble Awards, but I'm going to call it the Bubble Awards, were announced today. And first team was Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, James Harden, TJ Warren, and the unanimous MVP, Damian Lillard. Do you agree with those choices and an MVP?
Yeah, I think so. I do think that, Siakam could have been in there too. And, there's always some people that are on the fringe that are left out. Right. I do think for somebody there's certain players that the NBA loves, that if they're on the cusp, they're getting in.
Yes. It's just weird to see a first team and you see these names and you're like, huh? Because if the season ended and the names were like that, you'd be like, what happened? Because there's not names you
you would not think about TJ Warren being
for sure
a legit MVP candidate.
For sure. So if we could give out a few bubble awards ourselves, what do you think most exciting bubble team?
Ooh, the most exciting. I mean, it's tough to not give it to the Blazers, but let's just take the Blazers out of it for sake of discussion.
Sure. The Suns were pretty exciting.
Suns. I would say Suns. Yeah. Buzzer beaters.
Right. And I don't think anyone expected them to even break 50%, and they went undefeated, which is crazy.
True. All right. If it wasn't going to be one of those two choices, because I think those are probably the main two picks, right?
Yeah.
I would go with the Pacers with TJ Warren.
That's true too. Yeah. That was awesome. On the flip side of it, Most disappointing bubble team.
Lakers, hands down. I was just briefly on Reddit, and I don't know if you spend any time on NBA Reddit, but they've got a lot of really deep cut stats. And the greatest RPM drops, I believe, from superstars were both LeBron and AD inside of the bubble.
Really? Do you take anything into it, like going into the playoffs? Because like I was talking about it with some friends too, that I do remember LeBron when he was in Cleveland and they just go on a losing streak going into the playoffs and then he just goes on a tear. Do you think this has any effect on veterans like LeBron?
Way less. Way less for sure than, because he's been through it so many times and he's seen so many versions of it. Because I think it would be easy for young teams to be like, yo, we're killing it going into the playoffs. We're going to like beat everybody. And then they get swept because the playoffs is like a whole nother game.
Right.
I do definitely think it definitely makes some people raise an eyebrow.
Yeah.
Like even people who are seasoned vets go, man, this is not an A-level situation.
Right. And then the last bubble award, most disappointing bubble player.
Who do you have?
Mine's a curveball because he never played, is Michael Beasley. He got kicked out of the bubble like 7-8 days after getting in because he tested positive.
Oh, right.
And he just didn't. But if I had to pick another, I would probably pick anybody on the Pelicans because I just kind of thought more was going to come out of them. And I think Alvin Gentry
because the whole reason they even squeezed the teams in was to get Pels in, right?
Yes.
It's like they make a special exception for you and then you just dismiss.
Right. And then Alvin Gentry, they used the word dismiss, but he was fired today. Like, so I don't know why they keep saying the word dismiss, but yeah, he was fired. And I'm assuming they fell short of expectations too because of that.
Yeah, the only thing good they had about him was like a few full court alley-oops from Lonzo to Zion, and that was it.
Do you think it's going to be an issue, or what do you think between Brandon Ingram and Zion? Like, do you think Zion has to be the number one player on that team for it to work? Or do you think he can play number two?
No, I think he can play number two for sure. But I don't really love that team the way it's set up with you know what I mean? It's not horrible, but then you have like Drew wasting his prime when he really should be contributing to a contender as like a third option. And then you know what I mean? Lonzo's still trying to like shake off the bust label. And then Zion's great by all means, but he has weight issues.
Yeah.
And then Ingram, I don't know if you, for me personally, I'm not sold on Ingram.
You're not sold on him as the number one option? Or
yeah, I'm not sold as him as a max franchise player to hold down a team. He's only been good for like one season.
I had okay, so the new question, because I've had this question too. How many players do you think are actually worthy of what you just said, a max franchise player to lead? Because you're basically all those players should be super max players, right?
Yeah. I mean, they end up super maxing players who are not in that team.
No, of course.
They just got to keep them.
Of course.
But yeah, there's not a lot.
There's not a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot. It's probably half the supermax players are worth it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was designed to keep small market teams with their players, and I don't think it's worked. People sign it and then they end up trading them, or like you're just stuck with it, like with John Wall. Like we haven't. I mean, we've mentioned them more times than ESPN has in the last like year already. And then CP3's contract too is like almost untradeable at this point. You know, and he's not gonna. Shout
out to CP3 for kind of showing everybody that he was like worth the money though.
Yes. Which leads into the next. I just want to go through each matchup, just a quick, bit through all of it. So let's start at the Eastern Conference for the playoff matchups. Bucks, Magic. I'm not even going to ask you who's going to win it. So the question is, are the Bucks a legitimate threat to win a championship this year? No one I've asked says yes to this question.
No, yeah. I had to think about it because I was just like, I got to give the Eastern Conference something.
Yeah.
But, no, they're not.
Yeah.
I think especially, I don't know. I don't want to blame it on Giannis headbutting Moritz Wagner because I don't really think that's fully representative of it. But, I mean, they're just not ready,
Yeah, and I keep telling him I don't think Giannis is gonna stay on that team long term if he's not even if he doesn't win it or even gets close to winning it. And I can't tell how close they are. And
You
everyone
think they'll go to
asks,
the finals this year, though?
man, you know, I'm looking at the lineup. Like, it's a good year for them to do it because, you know, the Sixers are decimated. The Celtics, I can't tell which Celtics are going to show up. And the Raptors, which is the next one, Raptors Nets. Like, how good do you think the Raptors are? Like, they seem to play really well, but for whatever reason, no one seems to label them like a contending
Right.
team.
You would still take the Bucks over the Raptors.
Yeah. So I think the
I
Bucks
think it's
could
because
make
they
it out
got
of
the
the East.
superstar, right? And without Kawhi, you
Yeah.
just go, well, who's gonna like hit the fadeaway at the
Right. So the next one is Raptors Nets. Do you think the Nets have a shot?
Nah. I think that they for these 8 seed teams, the most they can hope is to really tire out the teams that are going to beat for the next round.
Right.
So it's almost like if you really want to defeat that team, you're not going to defeat them in the head-to-head matchup, but you can defeat their chances of winning the championship.
You think the Raptors have a shot of coming out the East and representing?
Yeah,
the East?
I do. I do. I think the East is, like you said, it's really it's much worse than the West.
Right. It's yeah. And then the next matchup is the 76ers Celtics, which is the most interesting one. Ben Simmons is out. Embiid is hurt, but I believe he's going to play. So do you think the Sixers can make it out of this series?
No, I don't. But I think it could go long, though. It could
Sure.
go 6 or 7, but there's just no way I see the Sixers coming out.
So if the Sixers lose in the first round, do you think it's time, or how long do you think it will be until they break up the Ben Simmons Embiid duo?
Oh, man, just knowing the Sixers, I think it's profitable. It's tough because it's hard to get fair value on the trade market.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that makes me think they'll like run it out longer, because I think they both got them both under contract, right? So I don't really see them.
You don't think they'll tinker
I feel
with
like they're going to switch the pieces around them and just give it another go.
all the role players.
Yeah.
And then I mean they gave all that money to Tobias Harris too, so they've given out a lot of money over there. I like Matisse Thybulle a lot. Shout out to Matisse UW. I think he's a solid player. He's fun to watch. And then I think personally my favorite series of the first round, Pacers Heat. Who do you think is going to win it?
I think I got the Heat realistically.
Because of Jimmy, right?
Play off Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And he's going to go so hard at TJ Warren.
Yeah. Do you think TJ Warren you think he'll play better than he did in the matchup in the last bubble game? He didn't play.
Had, 12?
Yeah, he didn't play particularly well at all.
He kind of got shut down.
Yeah. Do you think that'll happen do you think that'll happen 4 games total in the entire series?
Okay, so let's say this. He was averaging, 35 before he had the 12?
Right,
and then I think
inflated numbers,
he ended up with 29 per game, right?
Yeah.
I could see him only averaging 20.
Okay. Which is pretty good considering what we thought of TJ Warren when we started the NBA season. So the Pacers are a really well-ran franchise, it seems like. And Nate McMillan's done a great job with them.
Right. They just kind of do what they need to do with their talent restrictions, right?
Yeah. So, and then moving on to the West, we got the Clippers and Mavs. I mean, I think we agreed that the Clippers will win the series.
But will the Mavs get one?
Oh, man. they
probably will get one.
Yeah, for sure. I think, what do you think do you buy Porzingis? Like, do you think I don't think he's a superstar.
He's definitely not a supermax player, but he has the supermax, right? I think he has a supermax contract.
I don't remember if he.
I want to say that he's paid in that tier 1A category.
I mean, no matter what, Mark Cuban's gonna have to pay him to keep him for sure, and I don't know if I buy him in that tier at all or even close.
Who do you, I guess, more compare him to? Obviously, it's tough to compare him to anybody.
Right, because he doesn't play like anyone his height, ever in the history of the
I mean, I guess the Dirk would be the closest thing, right? Even though he's taller than Dirk.
Yeah, and he's nowhere – I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Dirk.
No, Dirk was just, way more skilled.
Yeah. because he still played at a time where
He's
there were
almost
post players.
comparable more in a way to me. And his height does change a little bit. Some more better defensive qualities. Almost more like a Danilo Gallinari.
A taller Gallinari. I can see. Yeah.
Or like what Bargnani was supposed to be.
Sure. Right. Sure. I mean, that's a good example. So then do you think the Mavs, like if Luka and Porzingis can grow, could be a championship contender in like 3-4 years?
No.
Or do they need a third piece?
I think it would be an elevated Dame and CJ type situation where the defense is always going to hurt them. You know, I know Porzingis is like good at the blocks, but he just can't move that well. Yeah. And then Luka's slow on defense. So even if he has the best technique, some of playing defense is just due to pure athleticism, which Luka's never going to have.
Right.
So it's just like, I think they could always go deep, but it'd be really tough to see just them two without like a third, almost like some sort of crazy versatile defender scorer coming in.
Right. Okay, so moving on to the Nuggets and Jazz. You got the Nuggets in this one?
Yeah.
What do you think of the Jazz? Like, I know they're a mess right now too because of like the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert thing going on, and I don't actually see Donovan Mitchell staying with this team.
Or do you think Donovan Mitchell is that because he's going to get a supermax? Do you think he is a tier A supermax player or a tier B supermax where you kind of just got to give him?
He's going to get that kind of money, but I think he's B. I actually think Donovan Mitchell fits better with, let's say, an Embiid than Ben Simmons does, in that I think he's a closer, and I think he's a good closer. But I don't know if he could necessarily be your best player on a championship-winning team. I don't buy him.
Do you compare him to Dame? Do you think he can have the same career that Dame has had?
Oh, in Utah? Yeah. I do. I mean, well, but the thing is though, and I was not getting
Dame is sort of known for great individual performances, but the team is always just like good at best.
Yeah, I was gonna get this when we get to the Blazers series, but like I don't know if Dame, because I thought Dame peaked last year when he knocked Paul George and the Thunder out. Like I thought
you're like he's gonna start to decline, right?
But he had an unbelievable year this year. So you
could argue even better, right?
Yes. So it does make me think like, has he peaked yet? And it definitely seems like his prime is a lot longer than I actually thought it was going to end up being. So if we're talking about Dame up till now, correct? For Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
I can see him. Man, but I think Dame's just a prolific scorer. And the other thing that Dame has that I don't know how many humans are actually capable of is his range. He can shoot so far at such
probably the furthest in NBA history.
Yeah, I just don't understand who, like, we've shot half-court shots, but like we have to like throw it up from here. Like, he's shooting it like a regular J. And I don't quite understand how anyone practiced it to get to the point where he's shooting that high of a percentage.
Because Trae Young shoots him, but he shoots him at a bad clip.
Right. And then also Donovan Mitchell, when his athleticism, deteriorates, what kind of player is he going to end up being? And I'm not entirely sure, because a lot of athletes that don't develop skills just don't age very well at all.
Right. And he's still saying that Dame has never really been tier 1 athleticism anyway.
Yeah, he's athletic, but he's not Russell Westbrook. He's not De'Aaron Fox. He's not Ja Morant.
I would put him almost in the same category as like a Jamal Murray in terms of athleticism. That's like a tier B.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. And then we got the Rockets Thunder. Who do you got in that series? And I think Russell Westbrook, I forget how many games he's supposed to miss, but he is supposed to miss a few. Do you see any way the Thunder coming out of that?
It's possible. It's possible. Anything is possible with the Rockets.
They can go to the NBA Finals, get swept in the first round.
Some analytics guys always like to say, "Oh, the Rockets could win it all this year," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? This team that's like just consistently shown they just do not have the heart and the mind in the playoffs."
Yeah,
and you're picking them. I don't know. Would you? I would never pick them to go far.
No. And I also, PJ Tucker plays center, and when you get to the Lakers or whoever, they're huge. I mean, I saw them play the Mavericks game, and the fact that Porzingis never goes down to the paint, Anthony Davis is going to take PJ Tucker down low. And yeah, so I don't see them beating the better teams. Like, I don't think they can guard Giannis and Brook Lopez like that either. And I don't see them beating any of the elite teams, which was, I guess, the question I was going to ask. Can this Rockets team work if they're healthy? And I don't think so. Like, I get the analytics, but I just don't see how they can beat a team that elite in a 7-game series. Like, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I think
You think they could take him to 7 though?
I don't. I actually thought the year they took the Warriors to 7 games was their best chance. And, Chris got hurt. So, that was it. But I just don't see it. And like, they don't guard I mean, James Harden doesn't guard particularly well either. And I don't know if we can call this the golden age for like point guards and scoring point guards, but it sure seems like everyone has a really good shooting point guard or scoring point guard, I should say. And it's the ones that have at least like a Pat Beverly type of player can manage to like, slow or like at least frustrate players a few games. And I don't think, because like PJ is going to guard the bigs now. So I don't see it happening like that. I really don't. And I hate to see the Thunder win anything, but I can see the Thunder winning the series. I really can.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it, but I would bet on the Rockets. But
right.
I wouldn't make it. I think it'll be interesting to see what the Vegas odds are.
Right.
I do believe usually the Vegas odd makers, they got a lot of inside info.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the last one is the Lakers Blazers. How many games do you see the series going?
Man, I was just arguing with some people today whether it was going to be 5 or 6. I went 6, but some people said Dame and CJ traditionally struggle in the playoffs. That's been true.
Yeah.
Their efficiency numbers drop a lot, so that's why some people were going, "Nah, man, I think it's going to be a sweep."
The couple of things about Dame and CJ, I think they do worse as they get to the later rounds. And I also thought it's because they're just exhausted. I can't tell how this break is going to benefit a lot of players because they're not playing a full 82-game season and then going into this playoffs. And they got an extended break. I actually think it benefits a lot of players like LeBron. I think it benefits even a Harden who seems like he always tires out at the end too. I don't think it matters to someone like Giannis who just seems like he has endless energy and he's young. But I think the one I see it going 6 games. I see them pulling at least 2. But I don't see it going very far because I can't tell how they're gonna guard LeBron. And I mean, they have bigs in Portland, so I think they'll throw Hassan Whiteside and Nurk at AD and all that. And then also, can the Laker wings guard Dame and CJ? Because like Rondo's out, Avery Bradley's out. We all know Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith isn't exactly defensive stoppers, so we'll have to see that. But I can see the Blazers taking the 6 games.
Yeah, I think they just gotta see if they can stay hot. But it wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw a Lakers sweep either. It wouldn't like blow my mind.
Right. So I told one of my friends who's a Blazer fan that I was going to ask you this question today. How many players do you think are better than Dame in the league right now?
Do you mean that are playing, like not like your KDs and your Stephs that are out?
No, including them. Do you think it's more than 6?
80 LeBron.
Right, 80 LeBron.
80.
Yeah.
Steph is close, but I mean, I just gonna pick him just because.
Steph. Right, Steph also we haven't seen play in a while, but like I mean, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still back-to-back MVP.
I think Kawhi's better than him.
Right. And then Giannis. So I guess that is 6. Yeah. So that would be 6 there. Right. So do you think
he's in the top 10?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's for sure. Do you think the Blazers can contend with CJ as their second best player?
No. No way, because look at it every year. Yeah, they have this flashy offense and a lot of highlights, but they're busting their ass to be the 8th seed in the West every year. And sometimes they get swept. Yeah, sometimes they get lucky. They go to the second round and then they get swept in the second round. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
I
I love CJ, but it's just like he's undersized at the 2. He doesn't defend well. He kind of needs a lot of moves to like even break free because he's not very athletic.
Yeah. I switched this question because the question I used to ask is, can you win a championship with Dame as your best player? And I think that answer is dependent on your second best player. And I don't know if CJ is the answer to that. I love seeing them play. I think the Blazers are so much fun to watch, but I don't know how that team can work its way passing. And then, like, we're forgetting right now that the Warriors and the Nets are going to be significantly better next year.
Right. They're missing about, what, 3 players each.
Yeah, and then they're also missing, like, their best players. Like, we were talking about Kevin Durant. We didn't see Kevin Durant play this year, right? I don't really know how Kyrie is going to work out with LeVert and Dinwiddie, but they're loaded. The Nets are loaded. Like, Karis LeVert was
They've got
putting
a lot of trade audibles they can pull.
Yeah,
this summer, too.
yeah. And the Warriors too, like, Clay was hurt and Steph. And then, obviously you got Draymond, you got Andrew Wiggins, and then they have a top pick coming up. So it's pretty loaded out there. So I don't see how the teams that are like 6, 7, 8 seed can compete when you're not getting high draft picks and they're not getting, the big free agents. And then your players, I don't know if Damon CJ has peaked. Like, obviously, we think that Luka's still gonna, he has a higher ceiling because he's so young. I don't really know what the ceiling for Porzingis is, but I think Luka's gonna get a lot better. So yeah, unless the Blazers get like some incredibly big trade, I don't see it happening because I know Dame would never want to hear this, but it might have been better if they just like had one bad year, get a great draft pick, add another guy to that squad. Like the Nuggets too, like with Bull and Michael Porter Jr. on that squad, like their ceiling looks high going into the future.
Yeah, I mean the Blazers could really use like a Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I got a few segments in here. So over or under, I give you a scenario and a number, and you tell me over or under. You don't have to tell me how much over or how much under, but just whatever you like. Even you can if you like. Over or under, if the bubble kept going, the Suns would have won 10 in a row. So I guess 3 more wins they would have to have.
Over means I believe in it, right?
Yes.
Over. Why not? I mean, I just feel like I think a lot of teams, even though they knew they were on a winning streak, they just looked at the Suns when they suited up and were like, I can't take this team seriously.
Yeah, for sure. I know I did it.
Yeah, I'm not locking in today. Like, because it's not like they were playing the same team over and over again. It was all new.
Right.
Same garbage old Suns.
For sure. Okay, so the NBA bubble guest rules have been announced, and they are gonna have guests come into the bubble. Adam Silver must think about everything because the rules were so specific. They were like, at first I was like, why are they asking that you had to have met them in person? But I forgot that a lot of these guys are probably on Tinder and Bumble, and they're probably swiping locals, and they might have been thinking about that too. So as they start to have guests, there's 342 players currently in the bubble. Over or under 50 side chicks will make the bubble.
Over.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're gonna
love it.
Some of the side chicks, they know them previously. It's not,
Right. That's true.
They can prove that they knew them.
I also don't understand how they're gonna prove they know each other. Like, do you just show a picture of you guys hanging out once, or like that process seems kind of funny to me. Like,
how are they gonna prove that the people don't have COVID?
They get tested 3 times before they enter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dude, I swear the NBA has thought about everything. I can't believe how well they've ran the bubble. Like, no positives for the WNBA and the NBA for what, a month? That's crazy. With 342 players, that's absolutely amazing. All right, David, not only are you a foodie and all this stuff, you are a prolific rapper. So I specifically made this segment for you. I'm going to name you basketball players, and you're going to name me the rapper.
Okay.
Equivalent. So
Okay.
name the rapper Damian Lillard.
Ooh, Dame Lillard would be first name that popped in my head was J. Cole.
Ooh, I like it.
On his own.
I like
Doesn't
it.
know features and just kind of
Ooh.
underrated and also stuck in Portland. Portland's kind of considered corny. J. Cole's positive messages to society are kind of considered corny.
Wow, that was a good one. I didn't see that one coming. Awesome. So that's awesome. Name the rapper Kawhi Leonard.
J. Electronica.
That's good.
Super just different, like an alien.
I love it. That was awesome. Name the rapper Devin Booker.
Lil Mosey. This guy, just because he looks like Lil Mosey. But all right, let me think. If I had to think of one other person that's not Lil Mosey, he would probably be like Logic. Just really smooth and stuff like that. But some of the real like tough guys, they didn't respect Logic. Right. And then some of the real tough guys, it's kind of like I feel like they don't respect D Book.
Yeah. Oh, these are all great. All right, name the rapper Kyrie Irving.
Tory Lanez.
Oh, that is a good one. He's
really talented, but also just like, yo, what is this guy?
Right.
Oh, I also had another one for Kyrie because I forgot I tweeted this. Lupe Fiasco.
Oh,
like
yes.
Really like headed in the clouds.
Wow, that is awesome. Yes, they're both good. And the last one to name the rapper is LeBron James.
LeBron's probably like Drake. Came up at the same time and just endless hits. And they got a really crazy team around him. They built like, you know what I mean? Like all their friends.
Yeah. And just an unprecedented long run. No one knew that Drake or LeBron would last this long, this good at the top.
Oh.
So the last segment I do is top 5 dead or alive. You know how we always debate top 5 rappers, so I just take different categories. And no one does lists better than you guys, the Fung Bros. So the first is top 5 players currently. No particular order.
Currently.
Yes, playing right now.
Man, I got to shoot. I was going to say, well, all right, I'm still going to go with Bron.
Yes.
Dame is top 5 right now. Bron, Dame, Kawhi.
Yep.
Giannis and Harden.
Harden, you put James Harden in your top 5.
Yeah.
You love Harden. I've seen your stories. Let's talk about James Harden then. Does it bother you how good he is on offense and it's just he's so bad on defense?
Yeah, I do think that he's a good post defender, surprisingly, though.
He's big.
Yeah, he's just big and he's stocky and you just can't move him. But I definitely think on the rotations and if somebody's kind of driving in and he doesn't feel like it's his man, he's definitely giving the B or C level effort.
Yeah.
Like a swipe.
Yep. Yeah.
He's not taking a charge.
No. Where do you rank him in like the most or the best scorers of all time? Do you think he's a better scorer than KD?
No, he's not a better scorer than KD. He might be a craftier scorer, but just due to physical limitations, he can never be a scorer with the ease of KD.
Awesome. All right, so next top 5 sneakers.
Right now?
Oh, no. Of all time for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is your top 5 favorite sneakers.
I like the Air Jordan 3, the Air Jordan 4, the Air Force 1. Strangely enough, this is a kind of coming out of left field. Jordan 31, which is like my favorite shoe to play basketball in, like ever in history. Like if you gave me 100 pairs of those for the rest of my life, I would be good. And then at number 5, I would say Jordan 1.
Do you have a particular colorway of the ones you've mentioned, like Jordan 3, 4, Air Force 1, and Jordan 1? Is there a favorite colorway out of those models?
I mean, I tend to like the white cement for the 3, the 4.
And then Air Force 1. Do you have a favorite Air Force 1?
All white.
White on white?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like
Classics.
My picks, they're not too crazy. Maybe for the Jordan 1, I like the Chicago's.
Yep.
So it's like kind of like, your classic.
Yeah, for sure. I actually agree with almost all of it. And then you're right. The higher Jordans, the 31s, to hoop in. Because like I've never hooped in the lower numbers. I've only hooped in the higher numbers.
Right.
Yeah. I used to buy, you remember the packs that used to come out that equaled 23? It was like 518 and it was like 17. I used to buy it for the lower number and I hoop with the higher number when I bought those packs. Right. Yeah. So I like that. And then I don't know if this is doable. So if it's too difficult, you can say it. But like, it doesn't have to be a top 5. Because like the reason I thought this category was I was watching Andrew Yang's speech when he wasn't going to be the candidate, the Democratic candidate. And he was what do you call it? Claiming you guys as one of the first interviews for him when he was doing his campaign run. And I was like, oh, wow, this gotta be like a huge moment for them when you are interviewing someone, not just someone, but a first like Asian American serious candidate for president of the United States of America. Like that's a heavy sentence, like what I just said there. Do you have a top 5 videos that you've been a part of or made? No particular order. It could be
definitely Andrew Yang is up there for sure. I mean, I can't really think of like, I know that's one that I still get messaged about, the Asian mom videos.
Yes.
The Asian mom videos. And obviously the first YouTube video we did together, which is about the Asian.
Oh, the top 10 Asian. Yeah.
That's up there because that was like the thing that made me go, oh man, this could really be a job.
It's come a long way since writing that list on Soompi and then renting that equipment from like Odegaard or something, right? I think Andrew was still at UW and he rented the equipment. We went down to Chinatown and filmed that. The amount of progress that you guys have had since then is like inspiring.
Hey man, in a way, it hasn't changed much since then because we were still just eating in Chinatown, getting dim sum thing. So I guess in a way it was pretty telling.
Oh man, that's amazing. Oh yeah,
things that really stand out for me are the ones where it really changed people.
Yeah.
Like, anytime people, I think Andrew Yang's team released a statistic that we drove like 1% to 2% of his donor base.
Wow.
But you got to think the donor base is like millions. Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to make you feel incredible, right? Like it's weird to say that about yourself, but like he was the presidential candidate like for Democrats. Like that's crazy. He's on CNN still. He's a correspondent and still do that.
I'll give him something in the cabinet if the Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that for me, that's always what I was going after is the impact. Obviously 626 and being able to brand things and kind of like, I think me and Andrew have always tried to be these intellectual thought leaders that aren't packaged like intellectual.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Packaged almost like if anything, some people used to call us knuckleheads.
Right.
Because we're from Kent. You know how Kent is. It's just like, it's a wild, a wild place. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, man. All the answers were awesome. All right, David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
everything. Yeah, for sure, man. All right.